Well, Arsenal is rumored to have entered the Julian Alvarez transfer race. We all know to it that the list has gone ahead to obviously bulge from 1 and it's now going to 3. Remember, at the beginning of the summer transfer window, Arsenal had close to 5 centre forwards they're really looking at, and they couldn't obviously get Benjamin Šeško, Zexi, those were off the list. Then Victor Osimhen, Ishak, and Gyökeres were into the queue to obviously be one of those that Arsenal really want to sign. And guess what? Osimhen looked like he's really getting close to joining PSG. And then the other player, Alexander Ishak, Arsenal was priced out of the move because a lot of money was being called up for his signing. You understand? Now, they were only focused on one striker known as Victor Gyökeres. You get? And Fabrizio Romano came out and told us that he's coming in to play for Arsenal depends on only one condition, that he's Edin Ketia quitting the side of Arsenal. And if at all that money comes in through, the rest will be history. Now, the fact is, Arsenal's list has gone ahead obviously blot with 2 more players, Victor Osimhen into the mix and Julian Alvarez rumored to joining the club of Arsenal. Welcome to this channel, the Football News Show. Smash like button, comment and share. And remember, we are powered by Moukoko Gadgets 256, dealers in phones and laptops, right? Dealers in phones and laptops, brand new and used phones and laptops from UK. You can as well call them on +256 70 99 88 665. And remember, they're also on TikTok at Moukoko Gadgets. You can as well see the wide range of their products. Don't WhatsApp them calling for betting tips like most of you have gone ahead to do, because the reports I'm getting in from the lady, she's telling me that most people are really coming at me requesting for betting tips, and you people are asking for my number. Just WhatsApp that number or call it when you want to get, or when you want to get phones or laptops. If at all you don't need any of those, please don't temper to obviously call that number. It's not my number. It's all about Moukoko Gadgets 256 into the mix. Now, after that, let's obviously get into the best of this, and let's start it off with the story of the guy known as Alvarez transfer to the side of Arsenal as Arsenal enter the transfer race. Youssouf Moukoko is really closing into joining the side of Marseille. That might affect the deal of Edin Ketia. And lastly, we're going to be talking about Kai Havertz, on how Mikel Arteta has gone ahead to give him his flowers into the mix. Now, today morning, it is Moloch Mira has come out and told us that Arsenal are monitoring Julian Alvarez. Suggestions are that Man City will demand a deal including add-ons of around £80 million for the player. Now, Arsenal monitoring Julian Alvarez, and they might be looking to get in a player, right, that is Premier League proven. You get? Arsenal might be weighing in through that paying £85 million to a player who is not Premier League proven, you know, that he is Gyökeres, and paying it for a player who is really Premier League proven. What are they really gonna do? If you Arsenal, what do? I tell you, at any day, I go in for a Premier League proven player, because Arsenal is out of the preseason tour and they are back. And as we speak, they are just a fortnight away from playing their first game against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Emirates. You understand? So there is no time for the striker to get him integrated, get used to the Premier League, because they've gone ahead to play 2 Premier League teams. They played against Man United and Liverpool in the US, and that would have gone to be a very good test for anyone who really thought that they would go in for Gyökeres. And now the deal of Alvarez coming in through for 80 million quid, £5 million less than what Sporting Lisbon is really asking in for. It gives Arsenal a very pregnant chance to obviously get into the mix. But from that, you can as well think about it other ways, that they can be doing this and putting it in the media, that they're introducing into the guy known as Julian Alvarez, because they want to threaten the status of Sporting Lisbon, that please, if you don't really want to get us the player at the £6 million that we believe you can get us, we are willing to spend 80 to the side of Man City, and maybe they'll fidget and be like, all right, let's get this deal done and dusted, because Arsenal is really going to find themselves in a position of really putting us out of the queue to obviously compete for this position. So I tell you, it is really having very many thoughts that are being painted onto this deal. And to my understanding, I believe the side of Arsenal will always know exactly what they want, and they're playing their cards really, really right. And the other factor that is going to threaten the side of Sporting Lisbon to maybe being dragged into where Arsenal want, you understand, for Arsenal to bully them as they want, is about the age factor. Julian Alvarez, 24 years of age, and when you look at Victor Gyökeres, is going to 26 years of age. When we go to what they really did last season, both of them, it shows you that for someone to score all the goals he scored in the Sporting Lisbon and in the League of Portugal, you know, it's not so much as compared to the number of goals that Julian Alvarez came up and obviously scored in the Premier League. When you look at Gyökeres, he scored 29 goals in the Liga Portugal, right? And Julian Alvarez scored 11 goals into the Premier League and 9 assists. They all, and for him, he had 10 assists. And Arsenal will be like, what if we get in this guy and doesn't really work out? Because he has to get used to the Premier League physicality and so on and so forth. And that might be a factor that Arsenal are going to have to consider. But remember, even Victor Gyökeres has history of playing in one of the toughest leagues, you know. And I tell you, the Championship, for me, is tougher than the Premier League. The intensity is really high. They play very many games. And he was at Coventry City before he joined the side of Sporting Lisbon. So there are very many factors that can add up, and there are very many factors that might not really add up to obviously facilitate this deal to completion. And Arsenal showing interest in Victor Gyökeres, Victor Osimhen, and Julian Alvarez, I think, is a sign of really pressurizing a certain group to obviously dancing to the tunes of Arsenal. And I believe they will dance to those tunes because, according to what I know, nothing comes on a silver plate as it's really being brought into the mix. So that is the man known as Alvarez, linked to the side of Arsenal. But remember, Man City will never sell a player to Arsenal. That is it. Because when they sold the duo or the pair of Jesus and Zinchenko, the mindset they really got from Man City and they brought it to Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously create another rivalry for Man City. You know, Arsenal had really taken long without competing for a trophy, and no sooner those two arrived from Man City, Arsenal went back to its position of really even topping the table. And it's all about the completion, you know, the finishing point. If Arsenal work upon the finishing point of the season well, they can really dethrone Man City. And Man City cannot give this player to Arsenal. It's really going to be hard unless otherwise no other team wants to obviously come in through and do the needful. We saw it onto the player known as Cancelo. Arsenal was offering more money than Barcelona, the likes of Bayern Munich, but Man City forwent the money that Arsenal was willing to pay and sent that player to the side of Bayern Munich on loan. Even when Arsenal was willing to pay like 40 million euros to get this deal done, and that's like between 30 and 40, they loaned him to Barcelona. So it's a confirmation that Man City don't want to sell any player to the side of Arsenal anymore. But Arsenal is not alone. They're really having competition, all facing competitions from other teams. And those teams include Atletico Madrid, as this guy, I think he's known as Gaston Edul, has come out and obviously spoken out loud about his other competitors. Gaston Edul, he works closely with the Argentine national team. He has told us that Atletico Madrid has had to present a formal offer to Man City for Julian Alvarez of around 60 million euros. However, PSG have already made a superior formal offer to both Man City and the striker. Now, Arsenal has people it's pretty castling it out with PSG and Atletico Madrid. And this is not good news for Arsenal, because if these people come out with a bid possible, they'll obviously lose the player. You get, and it looks like Atletico Madrid and PSG are really ahead in negotiations to obviously get this deal done and dusted. That's why it's hard for Arsenal to obviously come in through and really hijack this deal, unless otherwise they come in with a big offer to the player and also meeting the realistic evaluation for Man City. Maybe Man City will be like, all right, let's give them Alvarez, and that is what we call the wildest thought that you'll ever see Man City do, selling a player to Arsenal, because the last time they sold players to Arsenal became the real juggernaut that can obviously push them to the finishing line. And you never say never, but wait to see what Arsenal is really going to do. And it's not only Arsenal into the mix. Gaston Edul has also gone ahead and retold us the following, that while Julian Alvarez's future remains unresolved, an exit from Man City is increasingly feasible, and it's very likely he will change clubs this summer. Atletico Madrid and PSG are the only clubs in the race, and there is nothing from Chelsea. So looks like Atletico Madrid and PSG are the teams that Arsenal should really go ahead and really hijack this deal from, because these players are putting in a very huge effort. The teams are really putting in a very huge effort, and they're like sending a message to Arsenal that, please, we are really coming in hard, and please clear the way, because you won't be that person that is going to be wanting it if at all this deal doesn't go your way. Don't try to intervene, because we are ready to obviously get the business done and dusted. And for the side of PSG, they're really looking in for replacement of Kylian Mbappe, and that's why they're really working hard to get in a forward that reads the line and a wide forward. Remember, at PSG, players like Colmouani, Ramos have gone ahead to fail to do the needful. And by the way, when you look at the side of PSG, I think they stand a better chance to really gate this player, because they can tell Man City that we are getting you money, and Goncalo Ramos, and Man City will be like, all right, let's send Goncalo Ramos, because Goncalo Ramos might be willing to obviously play second fiddle after Erling Haaland, because Erling Haaland is untouchable at the stadium of Etihad. That is it. Pep Guardiola has also come out and said that they cannot stand in a way of a player who wants to leave the side of Man City, and they are willing to obviously wait and see how that is really going to pan out. So it is a lot, guys. It's a lot happening into the mix, and we are just waiting to see how other people are really waiting to intervene. And Fabrizio Romano, way back, I think the 5th of last month, told us that even English clubs are interested in signing Julian Alvarez. That's what Fabrizio Romano had to come out and really tell us about the deal of Julian Alvarez. But Pep Guardiola is like, Julian Alvarez should obviously take in the rest required and obviously find himself in a proper position to come into and really play at Etihad. By the way, Man City is really standing a very bad chance of losing very many players. For example, Ederson looks like he wants out. Kevin De Bruyne can obviously leave. Then this is the guy also knocking on the door to leave. That is Julian Alvarez, meaning that having gone ahead to struggle to obviously get in other players that will be less like replacing them, they are really on the verge of losing very many other players, So we're here to wait and see how that pans out. And let's go to the side of Germany, as there is a certain player highly rated that really wants to leave, and looks like Nuri Sahin is not interested in keeping him at the club of Borussia Dortmund. And this is the guy called Fabrizio Romano exclusive. Yusuf Moukoko has decided to join Olympique Marseille. Despite bids from more than 5 clubs around Europe, Moukoko wants Olympique Marseille project. Personal terms agreed. Negotiations underway between Olympique Marseille and Borussia Dortmund on loan. Deal with an option to buy. Now, looks like Marseille are really trying to get in more players. They've so far signed, I think, like 2-3. Mason Greenwood, Højbjerg into the mix. And now they want to add Moukoko onto the list. And they've gone ahead to see their bids rejected by the side of Arsenal for the player known as Eddie Nketiah, but they are still pushing, and Moukoko is really going to be joining them with an option to buy. And Moukoko is really a player that can play across the front line, you know, across the front line. You know, he can play as a right forward, left forward, he can play as a striker. And when you look at De Zerbi and the nature of talent is really taking at the side of Marseille, trust me, Marseille is really going to be a very hard nut to crack come this season. And PSG might have gone ahead to get themselves what we call a competent competitor this time around, because this man knows the game. When you look at the players that he's adding to the squad, trust me, they are going to push PSG for the title. That is it. If you're having Eddie Nketiah, Moukoko, Højbjerg, Mason Greenwood, that talent is really huge. Imagine Moukoko playing off the left, Greenwood playing off the right, and this guy leading the line, Eddie Nketiah. You understand? Højbjerg obviously playing the midfield, and other talented French players that Marseille is really looking to sign, and those that are already existent at the side of Marseille. So we are waiting to see how the team is really going to be operating, but all what you have to really see here for PSG is the manager who is really doing the needful. And I think he has always wanted to obviously get in an elite club that really has a budget, that wants to get in players and really retain them, because Brighton never, because it wasn't the case for the side of Brighton, and they were like, why should we be doing this for this guy? You know, all they can do is to sell players, and I think it was like, I'm not going to really achieve my goals here, because I need to obviously come into the mix and really do the needful for the club of Marseille, and that's where he really went to do his business into the mix. So that is it, coming in through from the man himself known as De Zerbi, and he's convincing those players to join him immediately. And you never know, even other players might join Marseille because of the project and how exciting I expect that project to be in there for you. After losing to Liverpool 2-1, Mikel Arteta had to really give Kai Havertz his flowers in what was his second game for the side. I think it was his second game for the side of Arsenal, and he really came up and obviously said it was good to see him score a goal. I think again he's had only 4 training sessions, and he then has to play in these conditions, but he's come again in good shape. He prepared himself before he joined us, and he looks really good and sharp. Now, Kai Havertz is one of those players that went ahead, obviously hit the ground running from the second part of the season, last season when Arsenal was really doing its stuff, you remember? And no one really underestimates his qualities and values as a player, and I tell you what, he has on several occasions gone ahead, obviously surprise very many people with his works at Arsenal, and coming in through and obviously opening up his campaign of the preseason from where he ended in the league shows you that he's sharp and really ready to go to represent Arsenal to the Premier League. And they still have some 2 games to go, where I really believe that he's really going to come in through and put in a very huge shift as a player known as Kai Havertz into that side. And I anticipate that he's really going to be one of those players to really watch when the side of Arsenal is taking on the likes of Lyon and Bayern Leverkusen at Emirates next week on Wednesday and Sunday respectively. So Kai Havertz is really going to put in a very huge effort as a way to see how they're really going to be fielded with Merino coming in through at the club of Arsenal. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and tell us your thoughts about Arsenal entering Julian Alvarez transfer race. Can they beat PSG and Atletico Madrid the signing of the Argentine? And can Man City really sell a player to Arsenal again? Having gone ahead to say to it that they will never sell a player to them, come rain, come sunshine. After that, you can as well come after and tell me your thoughts of Moukoko to Marseille, and then lastly, Kai Havertz hailed by Mikel Arteta. What do you make about those 3 stories? We thank God for the gift of life and Allah. So guys, we out for now. See you later, but continue to subscribe because we want to hit that magic number of 30,000 subscribers, right? So continue to subscribe and let's see to it that obviously the need for. The first video we did today was hugely watched and I thank you guys. And we are powered by none other than Mono Gadgets. Mono Gadgets are dealers in phones, right? Are dealers in phones. One, they are dealers in they are dealers in phones, laptops, used phones, and used laptops from UK. Call them on +256 70 99 88 665, or WhatsApp them to obviously go ahead and obviously call in for that. And lastly, you can follow them on X at Mono Gadgets, but don't WhatsApp them or call them when you're not inquiring about what they sell. That's not my number. It's a number for Mono Gadgets. Rokani David is my name. We out. See you later. And don't forget to obviously subscribe to this channel. More and more and more and more and more. And the rest will be history into the making. We out. See you when you see me. Bye-bye.